What if Elon Musk bought the entire world? Every country, every government, and every human life paid for with Dogecoin. Your paycheck paid in Dogecoin and Tesla stock. Your rent, it's only accepted via Neuralink. And the White House is rebranded as a Gigafactory D.C. And the Statue of Liberty is now holding a flamethrower from the Boring Company's product line. In this video, we're putting the entire global economy through the ultimate stress test. First, we'll see what happens if America's national debt hit $1 quadrillion. That's bigger than the entire global economy combined. And then we'll see what happens if the Fed panicked and printed $1 quadrillion, unleashing hyperinflation the world has never seen. And after that, the unthinkable. What if the United States sold itself to China just to pay the bills? And then we'll push it even further. What if instead of a nation like China buying the US, Jeff Bezos bought the entire United States government all by himself? And finally, the most insane scenario of all, what if Elon Musk bought the entire world? This isn't just a YouTube video, it's a wake-up call. And by the end of this video, you'll see how one decision can change the entire world as you know it. And trust me, you're not ready for what's coming. Let's get to it. So let's break this down. Right now, America's national debt is around $37 trillion. That's already a crisis on its own. But $1 quadrillion, that's 1,000 trillion. So to put that into perspective, the entire world's GDP is around 100 trillion. That means the US debt alone would be 10 times bigger than every economy on Earth combined. So what happens if America owes the world more money than the world even makes? Well, step one, taxes would skyrocket. The government's interest payments alone would dwarf the entire federal budget. That means every dollar you earn, every business profit, every paycheck is drained just to cover interest. Forget schools, forget roads or healthcare. The US would be working only to pay the debt. But here's where it gets worse. Who even lends money at that scale? Countries holding US bonds would realize America could never pay them back. Confidence in the dollar would collapse, investors would flee, interest rates would skyrocket, and with no one left to borrow from, the US government would be forced into one of two choices: default or print more money. And if America defaults, the world burns. The dollar is the reserve currency of the planet. China, Japan, and Europe, all holding trillions in US bonds, go bankrupt overnight. International trade freezes as no one trusts contracts written in the US dollar. Global banks collapse one by one. And this wouldn't just be a recession, it would be a worldwide financial apocalypse. Now, has debt ever destroyed a nation before? Of course. The Roman Empire collapsed under crushing debt and a devalued currency. In Argentina, repeated defaults shattered its economy for decades. And Greece nearly brought down the Eurozone with just a fraction of this debt. Now, imagine that, but with the US, the anchor of the entire global economy. $1 quadrillion in debt wouldn't just hurt America, it would drag every country down with it. So if America's debt did hit $1 quadrillion, taxes would devour every paycheck, confidence in the dollar would vanish, and the entire world economy would collapse in a chain reaction. And it wouldn't just be the end of America's prosperity, it would be the end of the financial system as we know it. Now, if the Fed decided to print its way out of this mess, what would happen? Let's say the Fed fired up the money printers and pumped out a cool $1 quadrillion of new money. At first, the headlines cheer, the crisis solved. Politicians call it a miracle. And people open their banking apps to see millions and even billions in their accounts. But within hours, the system begins to crack. Money is supposed to be scarce. That's what gives it value. And the instant that money floods into the system, inflation doesn't creep up. It explodes. Your coffee is now $5,000. Rent on a small apartment is $1 million a month. And a tank of gas? Try $10 million. If you can even find it. And every paycheck, every retirement account, every savings bond is obliterated. Your entire life's work is instantly worth nothing. And here's the part people miss. Hyperinflation isn't just about prices, it's about trust. And the moment people realize the money is dying, they panic. Everyone rushes to spend the dollars before they lose more value. Shops are mobbed, shelves are stripped bare, and within days, businesses stop accepting cash altogether. They want gold, they want crypto, they want food, ammo, and even gasoline, anything but dollars. And the US dollar, the once most powerful currency in the world, has now become worthless. Banks don't just struggle, they implode. Mortgages are meaningless, they're unpayable, the stock market is vaporized in a single day, and even the government collapses in on itself. Why? Because the interest it was paying on $1 quadrillion of debt doesn't matter anymore. No one will lend to the US again. And this isn't just financial chaos, it's the death of the system itself. And the entire planet enters a freefall. Countries collapse one by one, not because of war, but because America destroyed money itself. Now, this sounds insane, right? But history proves it. In Germany, people used wheelbarrows of cash just to buy bread. In Zimbabwe, they printed so much money, a single egg cost trillions. And in Venezuela, workers demanded salaries twice a day because by night, their pay was worthless. Now, imagine those same tragedies, but amplified 1,000 times across the entire world. That's what $1 quadrillion would do. And here's the part that makes it even crazier, is this isn't impossible. The Fed has no hard limit on how much it can print. It's just numbers on a screen. And in one keystroke, boom, $1 quadrillion. Now, that's how fragile our system actually is. The most powerful economy in the world could erase itself with the push of a button. So if the Fed printed $1 quadrillion, it wouldn't just crush the dollar. It would destroy the entire United States economy, and it would bring down the rest of the world as we know it. And in the end, money itself would stop working. Civilization would be forced back into trade, barter, or chaos, and humanity would have to rebuild from the ashes. But what if America didn't print or default? What if it made the ultimate deal? What if the United States sold itself to China? The news breaks like a bombshell. The United States accepts Chinese buyout. The president appears on TV saying, "Our debt is gone and America is saved." The crowd cheers for about 5 seconds, and then reality sinks in. The stars and stripes are lowered, and the Chinese flag rises over Washington, D.C. And just like that, the United States of America no longer exists. On day one, everything changes. Your taxes are now sent straight to Beijing. Your bank is now owned by the Chinese Communist Party. American companies like Apple, Amazon, and Tesla are absorbed into China Inc. In Iowa, family farms are suddenly Chinese state property. In Texas, oil rigs pump not for America, but for Beijing. And the most chilling moment, millions of US passports are reissued, property of the People's Republic of China. And the American dream doesn't die with a bang. It's quietly signed away on a piece of paper. And then comes the military. Every US soldier now answers to Beijing. Aircraft carriers, fighter jets, nuclear weapons, all reassigned under Chinese command. The Pentagon, once the brain of the world's strongest military, is repainted with Mandarin signage. NATO collapses overnight. Allies like Japan, South Korea, and Australia panic as the US umbrella of protection disappears. And for the first time in modern history, China isn't just the biggest economy, it's the only superpower on Earth. And the ripple effects are catastrophic. Europe bows to Beijing, desperate for protection. Russia scrambles to cut deals before they're swallowed whole, and smaller nations pledge allegiance to China just to survive. And the balance of power doesn't shift, it snaps, and the world wakes up to a terrifying reality. Democracy is gone, freedom is gone, and the global order is now run on China's terms. And here's the kicker, this doesn't even save the economy. Yes, the US debt disappears on paper, but under Chinese ownership, the dollar dies instantly. The yuan becomes the new global reserve currency, and Wall Street collapses as global capital flows to Shanghai. And the Silicon Valley becomes China's new tech colony. Hollywood studios churn out propaganda films in Mandarin. Americans aren't consumers anymore, they're resources. And the culture of freedom is erased and replaced with state control. Now, this sounds insane, but here's the scary truth. The seeds are already here. China already holds over $800 billion in US debt, and they've quietly bought millions of acres of American farmland. And their corporations have stakes in American tech, energy, and real estate. And a full buyout may sound impossible, but the groundwork is already in motion. This scenario isn't fantasy, it's just the extreme version of where things could be heading. So what if the US sold itself to China? The debt would vanish, but so would America. The flags would fall, democracy would die, and the American dream would be owned by Beijing. It wouldn't just be the end of a country, it would be the end of the free world as we know it. Now, what if America didn't sell itself to China? Instead, one man steps in. The richest man in the world writes the biggest check in history. What if Jeff Bezos bought the entire United States of America? The headlines shocked the world. Bezos acquires America. Every branch of government, Congress to the Supreme Court, even the White House now become subsidiaries of Amazon. Washington, D.C. is now rebranded as Amazon Prime Capital. The American Eagle is replaced by the Amazon Smile logo, and the Constitution rewritten as a product disclaimer. Day 1. Your life is an Amazon order. Every citizen is automatically enrolled in Amazon Prime and with an annual fee deducted straight from your paycheck. Police uniforms are replaced with Amazon delivery vests, and instead of jury duty, you work seasonal shifts in fulfillment centers. You need healthcare? You check out like a shopping cart. You want to vote? One click, but only if you have Prime. The US government isn't a democracy anymore. It's a subscription service. The US military is rebranded as Prime Defense, and every tank, every jet slapped with a barcode. Soldiers are delivered to war zones in 2 days or less. And for education, kids recite the Pledge of Allegiance. One nation under Bezos with 2-day shipping for all. National parks are turned into massive distribution hubs, and Yellowstone is fulfillment center number 7. And every law is optimized for maximum efficiency and maximum profits. The world is stunned. For the first time in history, a corporation doesn't just influence a government, it owns one. And other billionaires panic. Elon Musk buys Canada, Mark Zuckerberg acquires Mexico, and Bill Gates claims Greenland as his personal test lab. And the world becomes a chessboard of billionaires buying nations like real estate. And at the center of it all, Bezos controls the world's largest economy, the world's strongest military, and the world's most powerful empire. Now, that sounds insane, right? But here's the scary part. It's closer than you think. Bezos' net worth has already topped $200 billion. Amazon's revenue rivals the GDP of entire nations, and corporate lobbying in Washington are already buying laws every single day. So Bezos buying America may sound absurd, but billionaires already own pieces of it. This is just the final boss version. So if Jeff Bezos bought the entire United States government, America becomes a subscription service. Democracy is one-click checkout, and freedom ships in 2 days or less. It wouldn't just be a nation, it would be Amazon Prime, the country. But what if it didn't stop there? What if one billionaire didn't just buy a country, but the entire world? The headlines explode across every screen on Earth. Elon Musk acquires Earth for 69 quadrillion Dogecoin. He walks into the United Nations, slaps down a giant receipt that just says, "Thanks, I'll take it from here." In the fine print, Earth has no more presidents, no more kings, no more countries. There's only one ruler now, and his name is Elon Musk. On day 1, your daily life is completely transformed. Forget dollars, because everyone is now paid in Dogecoin. Tesla becomes the mandatory global car, gas stations are gone, and there are now superchargers on every corner. Groceries are delivered by a fleet of autonomous Cybertrucks, and X is now the Constitution. Every law is passed by poll. You want free healthcare? Make sure to smash that like button. Schools, they aren't learning geography anymore. They're learning rocket engineering, meme history, and how to code in Python by age 8. The world runs like one giant startup. Yellowstone National Park is now Gigafactory number 7, and the Statue of Liberty is now holding a flamethrower from the Boring Company's product line. The Eiffel Tower is draped with a neon Tesla sign. SpaceX merges with every Air Force on Earth, becoming SpaceX Defense Force. And rockets replace fighter jets. Starlink becomes the mandatory global internet. Every device, every home, and every fridge is connected. Energy is 100% Musk-owned. Solar panels, batteries, wind farms, and if you want electricity, you pay Elon Musk. And Neuralink rolls out worldwide. Brain chips for every citizen, marketed as the upgrade. If you want to drive, shop, or vote, you'll need a chip. The old nations on Earth crumble. Canada becomes Musk's personal ice cooler, Italy is rebranded as Little Mars Training Zone, and NATO is disbanded. China is absorbed into Tesla East, Russia becomes a giant SpaceX launchpad, and countries don't matter anymore. Planet Earth is now Musk's personal enterprise. Democracy is gone, and shareholder meetings replace elections. And the Olympics? Gone. Instead, every 4 years, the entire planet competes in a global SpaceX rocket race to the moon, and the winner gets free Mars citizenship. Every human is technically an employee of Earth Inc. with no option to quit. Now, this sounds like a fever dream, but the scary part is Musk actually has the puzzle pieces. SpaceX controls the sky. Starlink could run the internet for the entire planet. Tesla already makes more cars than some countries' entire GDP, and his net worth once topped $500 billion. That's bigger than entire nations. Now, buying the Earth with Dogecoin may sound ridiculous, but billionaires, again, already play with money like it's Monopoly, and this is just the endgame. So if Elon Musk bought the entire world, Earth would become one giant tech startup. Money is memes, and wars fought with rockets and cybertrucks. It wouldn't just be the end of nations, it would be the birth of Planet Musk. But here's the real question. If the dollar can die and debt can spiral out of control, if nations can be sold and billionaires own everything, who really controls your future? Now, this might be the end of our video, but the story of money, well, that chaos is just beginning. Because if you thought that was insane, wait till you see what would happen if Bitcoin replaced the entire global reserve currency, because that might just be closer than you think. Now, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification so you don't miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.